It works if you
Alright,
make
we
it
are
make
now
sense.
on the YouTube's airwaves. Let's ride. Sort of. I mean, I gotta give it 2 minutes and then I'll launch the 10-minute countdown.
Yeah. From the West Coast, from the East Coast. And all
From
the
the
coasts
east
in
to the
between.
west, U.S. Coast Guard was the best. Now they suck, just like everyone else.
I was gonna say, did they actually sing that song? Did they believe it?
I hope not. West Coast is best coast.
Key West is best.
If you're not climbing mountains, you're not climbing.
We have a mountain. It's 16 feet tall.
The hill.
Good old Mount Solaris Hill. I'd like to broadcast this show there from one day so I can say live from atop of Mount Solaris Hill. There from one day. So a little vainglorious, but fun nonetheless.
Yo, man, you can keep your east and west side.
That's right.
I'm gonna stick on the light side of the force.
You can keep up in the you stay up in the north where it's cold and you know.
Listen, they have to keep me up here because imagine if they let me out all year long, what it would be like for you guys.
Yeah, well, the world's about to find out what happens when I'm out all year long. Oh shit, let's get this train going.
Wait a minute. Are you coming out live on air? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a first here.
What?
Well, you did move to Key West. I mean.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. As it turns out, I'm squidosexual or something. I don't know. I like to bang octopuses like fake octopus. Anyway, that's just a Saturday conversation. You keep us somewhat PG-13.
Hey man, I didn't take it there, you did. All this coming out discussion. Oh man.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm in a weird mood. Can you tell?
Yeah. There.
This down even. Up. Right down.
So.
Right down. Up. Oh, you just press it. Tap it once. It's down even. Nope, you press it once. Don't hold. Double down. You gotta look at him. Hold down. Good up. Let go.
So before we go on air, one other thing. It looks like my student is going to.
One of these days, I will run a competent show because that was one of my best intros ever, and I forgot to unmute my dumb ass. So, we will just go ahead and say once again.
I'll paraphrase.
We've got breaking Sparrow news. We've got... No, not Sparrow news. We have a new intelligence bird, but that's gonna have to wait until later because we've got a whole bunch of intelligence to get through. Jay Ghost in the chat says, "Made me chuckle." Good. Glad
awesome, Jay Ghost.
Screwing up made you chuckle. At least it doesn't go to waste. Some other people complain that they have bad shows. So,
hey man, look, we get all of our like screw ups out of the way at the beginning so that the rest of the show is perfect.
Sure. That's what we're doing. We're getting to that perfect show, and when it happens, you'll know it because everybody will be here. On last Saturday's show, I brought in a new toy that I'm debating on bringing in to this show, but if I did, it would have to be super sparingly, or else I can't have intelligence be a part of the podcast. It would have to be changed to, like, I don't know, incontinence or something, but that's, we'll get to more on that later. Speaking of morons, John, how are you doing tonight? Yeah. Tonight, as I was saying, what did I say last week? We are tonight's entertainment, information intelligence podcast.
Yes.
That's one I'm just going to use all the time because it's funny, I think.
I agree.
That's all that matters. Corione agrees. It's funny. The end. Next.
That's it. And since I am the authority on everything, right?
Has the Oshawa man made his presence known to you in the neighborhood lately, or what? We haven't seen you on the End of the World. Well, we also haven't seen a lot of End of the World lately either, so that also kind of helps.
Well, I happen to be working a new job, and that's why I was away. But we've definitely had some interesting Florida man, Oshawa man behavior of late, and I'm looking forward to coming back on Saturday as soon as I get the chance, and we'll have some new rounds of Florida man versus Oshawa man.
We also might be moving to Sundays, but we're still figuring that out one step at a time.
All right.
Okay, I do not have the intelligence package ready to go.
I happen to have the intelligence package ready to go.
It's going to be you're going to show your package tonight, so...
Listen, man, my package is always ready for display.
All right, let's put it on display. Tonight's Intel Drop is brought to you by The Hollywood Reporter and Jay Ghost. Go ahead.
So, Snow White came in like a lion, but it looks like everybody who was going to see it...
Sorry, we have to interrupt. The lovely Sherry in the chat says, "Oh, packages. Welcome back, the lovely Sherry. Good to see you again."
So, Snow White came in pretty decently in the first day or two, giving people hope, but it dropped off an absolute cliff. And with the amount of money that they spent on it, it's now looking like it's going to be one of the larger bombs of this year.
Dude, I don't know if you guys know this, but it did the unthinkable. It beat the live action Dragon Ball Z in least number of stars.
Yeah.
2.3 versus 2.5.
Yeah, it's bad. It's making the baby Walt cry is what this is doing. The truth of the matter is they made very poor changes to the show. They to the original story. They decided to go with a cast that didn't resemble what the intended original story had. And they decided that after, Peter Dinklage's comments about, hey, why aren't you actually hiring little people, that they said, oh, we're not going to put little people at all in, and instead went with CGI. And all of these controversies, the fact that the set caught on fire on more than one occasion, has led to this being a major loss for Disney. So what do you guys think?
I think that the lovely Sherry,
Called it.
writes in a very valid point. Uh, she says, had she not become political and rude on social media, the movie wouldn't have bombed. And I'm
Okay.
inclined to agree with that. In
I would 100% agree because, like, as far as Disney releases goes, this is right up there with Mufasa and the live action Lion King. It's right up there with Ariel. Like, the only difference as to why this one hit so hard when it found the bottom
yeah,
was because of the main actress.
hate to give lawyers an idea, but unfortunately, the case can very much be made to trace the failure of this movie being to her comments because of, I mean, what you just said there, John. I mean, those other remakes pissed people off for other reasons, but the stars
No,
of
for
those
all the
shows.
exact same reasons. Like, as far as this movie goes, it sucks just as bad as other live actions so far. The problem is Rachel made sure nobody wanted to even give it $1. Like,
Yeah.
and that's like that was her choice, but like I wouldn't even just put it on her. I'd put it on all the people that told her it was okay to talk like that. Like, there used to be a thing called professionalism,
Yep.
especially when you made over $100,000 a year. That you were supposed to act with a standard of professional care towards the general public and potential new customers. But apparently, that's only for the poorest of us that work in customer service. Once you make a lot of money, you can just be mean and belittling and hope for the best,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I think this is definitely from the, FAFO, bureau here that we're getting this news. It looks like it'll be lucky to clear 90 million, if that. So this is
They
going to
have
get,
what, 100, 200 million to build?
yeah, basically,
Dude,
right?
and like, this is the thing that I have been just talking about en masse is product quality has depreciated so far
Yeah.
that like it actually isn't about products. Like, everything you learned in business school was a lie. The only thing that matters is maximizing profits. And I'll tell you for sure, the marketing team maxed the budget. Every single
Well,
person that could charge max rates as a
did.
third party vendor absolutely 100% did.
Yeah,
Well, so we know right now that it made 87.3 million as it stands. And they spent 270 million and then another 100 million or so on marketing. So they're going to be over, well over 200, almost 300 million below
yeah. So
breaking even.
the lovely Sherry writes in. Lovely Sherry says Rotten Tomatoes all audience score is at an all-time low of 20%. So that just adds more gasoline to the Zegler reason that this is failing fire. And then lovely Sherry also writes in, Little Mermaid was changed so much, but the actress was pleasant to the fans, so the movie was a success. I completely agree, and I actually followed some of the PR for The Little Mermaid, and yeah, the actress who played Ariel, she was enthusiastic. She interacts very well with fans. She's obviously very happy to be a part of the project and everything, and so it was like, for me, that was the point where I stopped, worrying one way or the other, because at that point it was like, well, all right, what does it matter if what is it, what are we really getting upset at this point if the actress is excited and you know, then the fans are getting excited because the actress is excited, then that's kind of what the whole point of a movie is. Then at that point, yeah, we can critique and nitpick the, well, okay, due to the photosynthetic nature of water and the fact that, you know, I think, and then the other sort of, I guess, tipping point for me was realizing that the original Tale of the Little Mermaid, you know, Ariel was like a green sea creature thing, so it's just,
well, there's that part of it too. Now,
so the cultural vandalism already started with the original cartoon and, you know, Disney animation in the first place, and then it was a departure of the original source material.
Like, honestly, I really want to know about the story of the boy who could overlook the sea creature's hideousness. That's actually more empowering.
How much,
you know, you could have Lizzo play the sea creature.
How much of that original story was actually lifted and put in, or, you know, it's like, are we talking like, is this Disney's Starship Troopers when they altered it from the original tale to the animated classic?
It must be, right?
But I mean, even then, the Honest Trailers does hit on a few good points about why the actual movie itself is shallow to begin with, and it really is. The Little Mermaid's one of the most shallow Disney movies. Like, oh, she's attracted to him because he's hot, and then there's the whole implications of, well, you know, the rowboat scene. But anyway, we're talking about Snow White and the 7 CGI monsters.
Well, here's a piece that I think is interesting, because, you know, Posapatos mentioned very clearly that, you know, Mufasa was pretty terrible too, right? Mufasa made 718 million.
And it sucked.
Right. And this couldn't even pull off a quarter of that?
Right.
You mean a tenth?
Because the lead actress,
a tenth of that.
The lead actress ran her little stupid mouth about, oh, how, you know, corporations this, Disney sucks that, and it's like, but no, that's not what
this is the issue. She is a 23-year-old. Duh. Mm-hmm. I name another 23-year-old that you want to hear their mouth run for more than 5 minutes. And I think Dave Smith made a really poignant point on this yesterday on his podcast, but like, shitting on kids for being kids is the most wasteful thing you can do. It's the adults in the room that are supposed to teach those $100,000 kids how to act. It's their fault that they did not teach her how to do a press junket properly. Like, it's the fact that for some reason, even though, yes, there were a ton of heinous things that came out due to the quote unquote professionalism in Hollywood, but that does not mean you abandon all professional standards altogether forever because let the kids run. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Read Lord of the Flies. And let's not yell at a kid for being a kid. Let's yell at all of the adults that manage her, agent her, direct her, produce her, executive produce her, produce the film. Like, there are so many checkpoints that could have made sure that she was properly prepared for dealing with the modern situation, which is like, look at everybody else. Look at Halle Berry. What did she do? She's like, I'm just so excited for this honorable privilege. And that was all we ever heard about it. And like, people were vicious to her too. But
right. But at the same time,
and then like, I don't even know if she said anything about it after. And like, that's what you do. That's adult shit. You eat the negative and just keep doing good, because there's always negative. It's how we respond, and how Rachel responded is the wrong way to do it. But again, she's 23.
Hey, it's like the Van Halen song, or no, wait, Jump's Van Hagar era, right? Yeah, I got to brush up on my Van Halen. Yeah, it's like the Van Hagar song. You got to roll with the punches to get to what's real. So, might as well jump. Anyway, speaking of jump, it's time to jump to our next. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry. The lovely Sherry writes in. Well, at least one little person, Martin Kleba, was given voice role of Grumpy. Oh, well, isn't that just a nice little token, like token on top of token role throw out right there. One small guy got to voice a CGI dwarf.
Yeah, that's. Oh well. All right, moving on. So
Up
we're
and
getting
coming actor Nicholas Hoult.
to star in David Leitch's bank heist thriller for Amazon MGM.
I'm in. All right, next.
All right, well,
son of a bitch, I sold. No, I like this guy. I'm already excited to see how he's gonna even in little clips about him with Lex Luthor. This guy, he's
the guy has the right look for someone that you expect is going to be robbing a bank.
Yeah,
man.
bank heist, Amazon. I mean, you guys, like, Citadel wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it was pretty solid, and we did enjoy it. I mean,
it was a ton of fun. It just didn't make any logical sense, which is fine.
That's all right. I don't need everything
most
to be.
Most of my video games don't.
I didn't feel insulted watching it, And yeah, exactly, John. We're gamers, so it's kind of hypocritical to be like, well, it wasn't the king's speech. It wasn't.
Dude, it's not hypocritical. That's what we do. We'll be like, look, it was a B action flick. Like, it had everything that made it perfect action except for a story that made any coherent sense.
If it's not Lord of the Rings, it's bad. Well, no, wait, Rings of Power.
No, we can't even do that now. No,
is there anything good? There's no more standards anymore, so I guess it doesn't matter. Anyway.
So the interesting thing is it doesn't have a title yet, but Amazon has confirmed that they've got to deal with 87 North.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
I thought he said
but Amazon,
and I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So 87 North also has confirmed that they're working on this, and it should be pretty good. It's got all the right names attached to it so far. I've heard rumors that the script is going to be based on something similar to a heist film involving a bank robbery, and watching it all kind of go sideways, right? They make the plan, they follow the plan goes sideways, they have to throw out the plan and wing it, right?
Every good heist movie does.
That's it. So it looks like they've got it right. So, yeah. I'm in. I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
Yeah, no, come on. I'll say no more. Let's do it. All right. Next.
Moving on. Next. So you remember how we got the amazing Brendan Fraser mummy movies?
Yes.
And then we got Tom Cruise trying to make a mummy movie?
We don't. No.
Right. And we decided
states that universe doesn't exist. That's a fan fiction universe.
You mean Mission Impossible Mummy?
Right. So, and we all decided that was maybe the last time we should ever have a mummy movie.
Right.
Like,
no, there was the Brendan Fraser. There was that one movie with Brendan Fraser and the bald guy, and that was the only mummy movie that was ever made.
Brendan Fraser.
No, there was only one.
Just as funny, and the kid made it even funnier. And then the third one,
wrong.
That tried really hard. And honestly,
the Star Wars sequels are more canon than the follow-on mummy movies. Anyway. No, wait, hold on.
But
now that's like two flavors of the same turd.
Was the prettiest mummy.
Jay Ghost says, Mummy Returns rules, PD sucks. Hey, Jay, why don't you come on the show and say that? Although it's his night off, so, we don't want to.
So, at any rate, because we've decided we're never doing another mummy movie again, we have another mummy movie.
Brendan Fraser's a little old to be playing the mummy again. So, or no, wait, I guess he is old enough to play the mummy now. But
yeah. So Jack Rayner is actually going to be playing the main. He's set to star in the Mummy. Now, the reason why
the lovely Sherry wrote in too. Unless you're bringing back Brendan, we don't want it.
Well, I was originally on that piece too, but here's the thing. The guys who are making this made Evil Dead Rise for New Line. And
this
that
is
was
a
some
Blumhouse mummy. This
What?
sounds amazing. It's a Blumhouse mummy.
Yeah. That makes it much more interesting to me because they did some really scary stuff in the remake of Evil Dead.
Dude, I don't know. Have you guys been noticing that like some of these like did you guys see Knock at the Cabin by M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah.
And the twist at the end, like spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but like the twist where finally the actual threat
All
was
right,
real,
totally
they did end
fair
the
and
world.
unbiased poll has been posted. Please vote accordingly to your conscience. Or ask somebody else how to vote for you. We don't have.
Yeah, so I am going to say that given who's signed on to the project, I've got hopes for this one. The premise is
hope that they actually nuke the world. Like that was the fear in the Brendan Fraser one, and it's like if you can't bring Brendan Fraser back, then I guess the mummy wins.
My understanding is this one's going to be a little smaller in scale. So here's what we've got basically going in terms of plot. Plot details are being kept in the tomb, but it's understood that Raynor is playing a husband and father who runs afoul of supernaturally sinister forces.
Runs afoul of So is he going to run into the Winchesters?
I'm thinking what I'm thinking is probably going to be the case is we're going to see something akin to the kind of the Oxuna Moon sort of side story here, but we're going to get we're going to get like this is a mummy come back from the dead that sees the daughter as his former lover and is trying to take her back and has cursed this family now to have to deal with trying to get rid of him. That sounds pretty damn good. So,
yeah, I mean, the lovely Sherry says, I've only ever seen one thing with Jack Raynor. He doesn't seem like a lead actor. And that's, well, I don't know, maybe. Seems like it'd be worth a try. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's something to keep our eyes on. I don't know whether it's going to be good, but I do definitely think it's going to be interesting.
All right.
I say to that comment
now or forever keep the peace.
I say to that comment, like one of the biggest things is when they don't seem like a star, that's the chance for them to shine the brightest. Like the ones that seem like side characters, usually, if given the chance, are going to do their best. Right. So, like, I don't know. If given the right writing, there's a high chance this could work out really well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this is something that we can take a look at any rate. So, all right, moving on. So, I really I have yet to run into a prequel.
One last thing. The lovely Sherry says, but I have faith in Blumhouse. So,
that's
Jay Ghost says nobody believed in Michael Keaton as Batman. So, this is honestly, with the controversy that this has now managed to stir up, we're gonna have to add that to the watch list when it comes out in like 2026 or whenever.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So, I'm not usually a prequel person. I mean, there's only been like, the Star Wars prequels were pretty much the only prequels I really enjoyed.
That's okay.
But I thought this was worth mentioning.
X-Men First Class was pretty good. I liked that one.
Okay. But we're getting a Friday the 13th prequel. Yeah.
Jay, you should be excited, right? This is like your cousin Freddy or whatever. No, wait. No, Jay is the Friday the 13th guy. That's right. Duh. I got my bad guys mixed up. Jay Ghost says gross. Oh, well, okay. So I think Jay doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I say gross because his Blumhouse was doing it.
Yeah. But yeah, so the idea is Crystal Lake will have Pamela Voorhees, the mother of Jason Voorhees, um, playing, being at Crystal Lake, presumably, when, kind of the events that led to all the nonsense start. And apparently it's been in the works for some time. It was originally ordered in 2022 with Brian Fuller originally attached as writer and showrunner. Fuller left the project, which, was never a good sign, right?
Shout out to all my Scream fans.
So wait,
Yeah.
Fuller got fired from Star Trek Discovery, and then he got fired from this thing too?
Yep.
So that tells me that about 75 to 80% of this movie is going to make sense, and then the last 20% is probably just going to take a direction you don't expect, and then you're going to be wondering, did I just watch something that was good or not? And, well, part of it was. Like, all that stuff getting to the alternate universe, all that stuff that you probably watched in the beginning and all the twists you didn't expect but are blown away by, yeah, that's what competent writing does. But I guess Fuller just is, I don't know, fuller of himself to the point where he can't hold a sustainable freaking franchise.
Right. I mean, in theory, the Friday the 13th, like, look, whether you like horror movies or not, they are basically a license to print money.
Just change his name to Brian
Wait,
Fired.
okay. This is where I'm going to bring up my point. Shout out to my Scream fans because my son loves them. So I've seen the first Scream way too many times. And the first killer in Friday the 13th was Linda, or I don't remember where, Pamela Voorhees.
Yeah.
Jason was the ghost that she was killing to avenge. So, like, the first one is already the qual. I guess this is like how Jason got beat to death and was also a disabled monster.
Jay Ghost.
So are we going with honestly, it's Peacock. So it's like going to be an NBC version of Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yeah.
Jay
The
Ghost.
blood, but all of the terrifying desert scenes, and it's basically just going to be shitting on Texas.
Jay Ghost clarifies, I didn't say Blumhouse gets a free pass. That was Sherry. The prequel in canon should boil down to teenagers murder a disabled boy and then everybody goes home. Man, I don't know, Jay, you say it, but I feel like I need to sit down. I don't think a movie's going to work.
That's what caused her to start killing.
That is a sentence that requires at least a 14-part mini-series going into the backstories of each of the teenager kids. And then, but we got to make sure that when we hit episode 13, that's when the show needs to just pivot hard into an emotional, let's go find ourselves and get in touch with our feelings that makes no sense.
Yeah. That's about it.
I'm sorry, did I ruin the article?
Season 2 introduces time travel, and Jason is here to bring his mom to 2019 to stop the vampire ghosts.
And save John Connor from being
gay. But learning how to come to grips with being gay. It's a
2005
story.
Called John. They want your joke back. Anyway.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to take a pass on this one because it just does not seem like something I'd be interested in, but
hold on. Just wait 1 second. Okay. Let's really consider what you're going to do here. Seriously, I'll just save this thing. I'm sorry. John, didn't you have a thing to say on this real quick? Or Jay, I think you had another thought on it.
On this topic, on Voorhees?
What's the point of
Dahlia Lightwood says, yo, 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 everyone.
Oh, hey, Dahlia Lightwood's here. Good to see you.
Hey.
Welcome. We have a packed house. I don't think I can fit all these strangers. I'm so happy.
Yeah, you better put on the other bag of burgers, my friend.
It got saved in a different spot. All right, so how do we feel about this story? We don't feel that great about it. Cool. This is one of the very rare times we're going to use this thing on this show, but here it goes.
Yeah.
All right, next.
All right, moving on.
We must use the fart soundboard sparingly.
Well,
For
I've
this
now
is
got
still
something
the
to make you
Intelligence
happy.
Podcast.
Jay Ghost writes in, just a bunch of abusive, neglectful households in the 70s, and everybody smoked cigarettes near their kids then covers up a little freak murder because it shouldn't hurt their future, and then credits.
Okay, so
Yeah,
is that...
like-
I'm sorry, that sounds like a prequel to Stranger Things, but anyway.
No, dude, it honestly, like, it is. Like, that story, the first movie is her finally taking her revenge.
Yeah.
So this Peacock series is literally like...
Dahlia Lightwood says, did someone fart in a stormtrooper suit? Lol, what's that sound effect? That's, like I said, we on the E2IP, we use the fart soundboard sparingly, and only if we come across, like, if a story turns out to just be a total freaking dud, like we just dudded hard on with just shitting on the possibility of a Friday the 13th prequel. When that happens, you know... Yeah, so that's...
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, to make you guys happy and to make up for that bad
Speaking of
news,
shitting in stormtrooper suits, Andor.
we've got a season 2 trailer.
That's a deleted scene. He takes a dump in one of their
helmets, yeah.
one of their helmets while the dude's in the shower or some shit. Anyway, that'll be
so-
the robot
Pretty sure that
chicken.
was the robot
spoof.
chicken scene as
Yeah.
Luke left.
Exactly,
So,
John.
season 2, the trailer for it has released on Disney Plus.
They released another one again.
I would not recommend we show the new trailer from Disney Plus because they have been copyright striking pages.
If there's
that have put it
one
up so
if
far.
there's one show I would like to try to completely absolve of copyright from now on, it would be this one, with the exception of if we do want to do a trailer. But if they are striking other channels right now, then we will leave there it is, right there. You can go check out the official Andor trailer on your own time, guys. But
I will tell you what, boys and girls, I will share a link to
Corio's
it.
gonna drop the link for everybody. So.
Hey guys,
because I am just that good a guy.
If Disney would let us show their promotional material in order to promote the show that we want to watch along with, that would be really, promotional.
And I think it's
Right.
only because it's primarily been on like they primarily wanted it on Disney Plus as an exclusive, and I think that's why they've been doing it.
Yeah, Dahlia Lightwood says,
But-
please no Disney content. Oh, don't worry, Dahlia. We already talked about Snow White. We're not going back to that one. Andor, however, I do declare I am excited for Star Wars yet again. I cannot wait for that. And yes, and of course, it releases on the 22nd of April, which is a Tuesday, and it's going to be dropping every Tuesday because that's apparently what Star Wars wants to drop. So, we will be, of course, modifying our show to the Andor special every night. We'll talk a little bit of pop culture. We'll talk about why we're excited for Andor. Then we'll either live watch Andor, maybe even on stream if we feel like it, or not, and then we'll decide if we want to talk about it afterwards. But as I understand, there's going to be 3 episodes a week. Huh?
We're doing the same thing we did with the Skeleton Crew. Watch and then retalk.
Well, we can try. It's dropping 3 episodes a week. That's why if we do that, the talk about it might have to happen either on Wednesday or late night. I don't really, I don't know. It's.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So I thought you guys would be a little bit happy for that and make your day a little brighter.
I saw that new trailer and it was pretty awesome. All right, this section of this stream is now brought to you by, well, still the Hollywood Reporter. And okay, I haven't actually finished Severance season 2, so we gotta dump that one.
Well, what I'm gonna say is Severance season 2, the ending is definitely worth checking out. And the fact that it's already sorry?
We know just as little as we did at the end of season 1.
Great.
Pretty much. But I will say this is something that I haven't seen before. And it really tells me that Apple's got a hit on their hands. I was in a boardroom meeting with like, Fortune 500 company stakeholders and government officials. And before the board meeting started, everyone in the room was talking about Severance. That's the first time that has ever happened for an Apple show that I can remember. Now,
did you tell him to
that
watch
is
the Ryder
interesting.
Brothers take on it?
Well, I did happen to forward them our way, but me being a shameless self-promoter, but the truth of the matter is that is interesting because it used to be that the kind of the streaming shows were a little niche, and like Apple was the nichiest of streaming services. But
Except
if
for
it's
Ted
hitting,
Lasso. That like there is a precedent, and that's Ted Lasso, but like Severance and Ted Lasso are not the same show.
no, and the fact that it's getting this much attention
Yeah,
from
the same
normies,
dialogue, though. Same amount of dialogue.
but like it's getting this attention from normies,
Yeah.
that's something to take notice of.
Oh, I've been
Well,
noticing
yeah, we
that
want
for
these
sure. I
shows
didn't
to
know it
go
got all the way to
mainstream.
like.
That's
I
the
didn't know it
whole.
got all the way to boardrooms because I had been hearing it on a lot of like, so like I have podcasts that I listen to that are what I consider my normies. They
Right.
talk about all the sports, they care about like a lot of general things, but almost all of them have constantly been talking about Severance. And they're like, yeah, are you watching it? And like a couple of my more niche podcasts are doing the same thing. They're like, yeah, I'm on season 1. I had to start the whole thing. I'm not starting at season 2. That's ridiculous. And I love that. But like, we jumped on this one at the beginning, and that's crazy how fast, like how long it took, but also how good it is and how deep it's already penetrating.
Yeah. So I think that's worth bringing up that even the normies are getting in on this show. And we were there first.
Well, that's what
we
we
get to
want, though.
hipster.
Like
we were there before it was cool.
This isn't an elitist podcast for. Okay, the whole point of it, calling it the Information Intelligence Podcast, is so that anybody can watch it and can feel like, okay, we have a good source. We have good discussions on this. Anyway, all right. I feel we're gonna spoiler it hard if we keep going. So
yeah. So I don't want to spoil the ending of it, but let's just say it's worth watching.
This portion of the stream is now being brought to you by Dahlia Lightwood, Corione Witch in Residence, Jay Ghost, and the lovely Sherry, as well as Deadline. Deadline's bringing us this next intel drop from, looks like, Apple.
Yeah, so Apple has officially picked up the Jerry Bruckheimer UFO disclosure movie.
Oh.
Jerry Bruckheimer is going to be doing a
Is this a Rogue
fictional
Council preview for this Thursday?
No, not at all. This is a fictional movie.
This
is a fictional movie about a whistleblower who finds out that, holy cow, aliens are real. The government's been keeping them under lock and key, and is trying to get the word out while shadowy government agencies are going after him. Think, a couple of the best seasons of X-Files, but done in a more realistic way.
Think Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
2026.
Yeah, and Jerry Bruckheimer's doing it. Joseph Kilonsky's done some amazing work. Apple's officially picked it up now. This is a thing, and it's going to be real, and it's supposedly quite good from all we've been hearing about it. If you'll recall, in an intelligence briefing earlier this month, we actually did discuss that Bruckheimer was doing it, but now we know it's going to be with Apple. So Apple, from the looks of it, has picked up another big banger.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys know this, like we were just talking about Severance. I mean, we have had nothing but praise for everything that we've heard from Apple and stuff that we've promoted and talked about here, ranging from shows like Masters of the Air, which is an excellent companion piece for the Band of Brothers universe, which weird to say it that way, but that is reality. It's a historical retelling. So, and then of course Severance, as we were just talking about, which was one of the first shows we talked about on this. At least that was one of our weekly shows we had just started, which is available in our archive. And then let's see, what else do I? Oh, there's a whole bunch of good stuff on Apple. What else have we watched on there? Slow Horses was another one I know we enjoyed. We still have to catch up on series 2 because it just kind of showed up on us out of nowhere. And then Silo's incredible. I forget that Silo's there, but Silo is another incredible show. They also had
Tulsa King on
Tulsa
there?
King's Paramount. Yeah, that's Sheridan verse. Which, next week we're hoping to start 1923 season 2, which I thought was going to be called 1924, but I guess not. But join us for that. But we do have Invincible that we got to talk about, as well as Invincible news. But first, let's get back to the to the intelligence.
Yeah. So we haven't heard much from Mike Myers in a long while, right? We all remember him from Wayne's World and Austin Powers and all those fun characters he did. Well,
oh man, I forgot what it's called, but I loved his Illuminati Netflix series he just did.
Yeah.
So fun.
Right. So there we go. And he's been getting pretty political on the Canadian side of things. He's come out endorsing Mark Carney, who's the new prime minister up here. Mark Carney is called a snap election, because he didn't really have a seat, so it made the most sense to do it. And he's coming out saying that, the Mark Carney's one of the good guys out there. And we've been having one of the big election pieces here is we have something called the CBC. It's the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. The best way to do it does primarily Canadian content shows. And there's been a lot of talk about defunding it. Sorry?
Letterkenny, Shorzy.
Yep. And there's been a lot of talk about defunding it lately, that it's not making anything of value.
Letterkenny, Shorzy.
Yeah. Trailer Park Boys. Yeah.
Grow up.
But
government.
Yeah. Right. But so Mike Myers coming out and praising the CBC the way he has been, that's pretty big. I'd also like to point out that well before I went to the high school, Mike Myers and I went to the same high school.
Nice.
Yeah, sure. Well before you did. You mean like the same week?
Dude. Dude.
Yo, freaking John's B-17 wings just popped over Oshawa for a minute. Holy hell.
That's it, man.
This is a solid bomb on the witch's castle.
Oh, dude.
The Enola Gay.
Dude, hurt my heart. But yeah, so I thought this was kind of interesting.
John. Yeah, somewhere a Catholic is laughing. I hope you're happy.
Now, I am going to say this. Normally, right, I know it's kind of the norm for American movie stars and whatnot to get involved in your political process and publicly endorse candidates and stuff. I know that's the norm.
Dahlia Lightwood says, dude, that's mean. I'm probably close to his age. Well.
Right?
We're just nuking everybody tonight.
He's just indiscriminately going after people.
Yeah,
Well, at any rate, this is the first time I remember in Canadian history that a film and television star has actually come out and gotten involved in Canadian politics. So I thought it was interesting that we're seeing it.
I feel like I need the noose meme, first time, because our WWE superstar was Reagan, and of course we all know how the WWE era of politics that Dahlia Lightwood does not want us to talk about is going.
Well, I thought it was an interesting piece, right?
Well, and we appreciate you sharing the Canadian politics because it's a little less All right,
Yeah,
back to the entertainment side of things.
sure. Let's go for it. You remember 72 Hours?
Uh,
It is a great Eddie Murphy movie where he's
ah,
playing. It was one of his early movies where he's playing a cop, and he has this epic rant that ends with "I am having a very bad day."
yeah. Oh, speaking of, seriously, we must stop letting politics pollute everything good, says Dahlia Lightwood. I agree. I agree.
Hey man, I'm right there with it. I just thought it was an interesting piece to see because it's probably the first time we've ever seen it.
Well,
Yeah.
dude, it's in this instance, he's standing up for, like I said, Letterkenny, Shorzy. Like,
Yeah.
say what you will about the comedy in those shows, the actual values demonstrated are 100% necessary to today's world. Like, people need to watch those shows if they want to feel good about the future.
Yep.
Because, like, a lot of independent individualism that America used to talk about and care about coming out of Letterkenny.
There's also like a lot of other shows that you guys never got that were kind of staples up here. There was one called North of 60, and it was about life in the actual Arctic. And it kind of filled in things for us here, like down in the southern kind of near the states kind of piece
Oh,
that we didn't actually get to see.
that must have been the that must have been the Canadian equivalent of Northern Exposure.
Basically, yeah. So it was pretty neat, right? So I thought it was cool. Now, Kevin Hart is gonna star in 72 Hours. So
Yeah.
we're getting Kevin Hart as Eddie Murphy's old character.
Hold on. There's another instance of Dahlia Lightwood says politics has polluted movies, music, sports, news, and the internet. There's literally nowhere left for people who want to escape it. And you're right. We talked about it here on this show. So, in the event we talk about politics, let's see what this one does.
I have no idea what that was.
Oh, it was a big giant wet fart with a little bit of a residual fart. So
Okay, it doesn't come through like that.
Politics.
On ours,
I know. Sorry, you guys are on the way you guys are set up. You can't actually hear it. Just go back and listen to it. It was funny, I swear. So Dahlia Lightwood says yes, perfect, LOL. So there it is. Anytime politics comes up, whether it's the E2IP or the end of the world, fart noises. All right, continuing. Yeah. It is only fair.
So the film traditionally follows an old executive who hopes to save his failing career by joining a group of 20 somethings on a wild 3-day bachelor party. After he's inadvertently added to the group text. It sounds like it could be good. It sounds like it could be a lot of fun. I'm interested in seeing where it goes. And look, Kevin Hart comedies have always been pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Right? Watching him freak out when there's a problem is always wonderful to see. So, I think it'll be worth checking out when it comes out. And it's going to be out on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah. No, couldn't hurt. All right, what do we got next on the next Intel drop?
Well, this was kind of interesting, and I thought this was a fun thing to see. So, Turner Classic Movies holds a film festival and they've been doing so for the last 16 years. And Empire Strikes Back is going to be presented at it with George Lucas doing live commentary on the movie as they watch it at the film festival.
What?
Yeah.
What? When? Where? Shut up and take my money.
Right? Now, it's going to open, let's see, April 24th. And on board to present the film will be George Lucas. So there you go. So the Turner Classic Film Festival on April 24th.
Jeez,
I think we know where PD's going to be.
I depending on how the month ends at the gallery, maybe. Who knows? We got a big weekend coming, so we'll see what happens. But the 24th tickets are probably already sold out. But man, that would be freaking awesome. To go and see George Lucas giving live commentary of Empire Strikes Back. Like, come on, greatest Star Wars movie of all time. Even though 4 is my favorite.
Fair.
Yeah, definitely.
So, it is The Godfather Part 2 of Star Wars films. It is the GOAT.
Yeah.
And with George Lucas coming out to actually do the commentary live for the crowd, I think that's amazing.
I agree.
Next. So this was a little bit of an add-on I managed to luck into. Malcolm in the Middle Revival, which we talked about previously, sets Malcolm's siblings and daughter as Christopher Masterson and Justin Bayfield to return, and Dewey is going to be recast. So apparently the guy who originally was involved as Dewey didn't want to do the remake, not remake, revival. And he's out, but the rest of the cast are coming together, and it's going to be a family reunion sort of situation.
Well, that's disappointing, I guess. But hey, if he didn't feel it, I don't know. One of the shows I did kind of like was Last Man Standing, starring Tim Allen and some other folks. And there was like the daughters got recast and changed and reshuffled so much on that show that it's like I couldn't stop caring to keep up with it anymore. And it's like that's why it sucks if they have to even recast on something like this. But so that's just it.
I do get it.
I don't want to do it. Which is,
no,
it's not fun.
And some people,
this was the opportunity for something awesome. This is like if one of the TNG crew decided, no, I don't want to show up for Picard season 3. Like, we were this close to greatness.
But Brian and Jane are coming back as the parents.
Yeah, that already is enough. And Frankie Muniz.
Dude, I want them to just gloss over Walter White, but just constantly have the neighbors bringing
make it
up.
Sound like.
That would be so great.
That's what I appreciated that Sheridan did with the guy who played Guilfoyle in Silicon Valley. He made reference to that in Tulsa King when he's like, yeah, I was with a startup for 5 years back in Southern California, or back in Silicon Valley, and I was like, that is not a small reference.
No, that was really well done. And like I said, I think if they did this whole thing where
not only is it not a small run, that's what got him the job as a permanent member on the King's crew. Like, I don't know how much he does tech in season 2 yet because I haven't watched it, but like they full on use that as his resume for tech. Like, now they never have to explain how smart Guilfoyle is if he hacks anything.
Right. Well, what I was going to say is I think it would be really great if Bryan Cranston's character like woke up startled from a dream, and he was like, I was dreaming I was a drug kingpin or something. Like, that would be great.
I just want Aaron Paul to just casually walk up.
That would work too. Jaco says Aaron Paul is Dewey. Yes. Done.
Absolutely.
Recast. That would be never mind. I take back what I said. He doesn't want to play, the original kid doesn't want to play Dewey. Done. Just give it to Aaron Paul. Don't care if he's older or too old. No.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's it.
No, dude. Brian and Aaron walk in and
do a bar.
You're Dewey now.
Yep, there we go.
You were my youngest son. Anyway.
I'm older than all of your kids. You're my youngest
Sun.
Shave your beard.
Yeah. All right.
Give them the polo, cargo pants.
It'd be great. All right. Now, one last piece. We finally found out where the 007 rights have landed, and they have landed with Amazon MGM.
Which again, see Citadel for
Amazon
why I'm
monopoly,
actually
global monopoly.
It's soon there will be 3 companies: Netflix, Disney, and Amazon. Oh, and probably Apple.
No. There will only be Amazon. They'll short every other market until their enemies bleed.
That's why they
Amazon.
Well, yeah, that's
till
why
all are one.
That's why Amazon likes to push all that, anarcho-capitalist propaganda, because if, the economy deregulated tomorrow, we'd be the United States of Amazon, and that's a political reference. Therefore, that means fart noise. Anyway.
All right. So I thought this was interesting because, on one hand, Citadel. On the other hand,
Citadel,
Rings of Power.
Right. Citadel, Expanse. Amazon did really good when they took over Expanse.
True.
Peripheral?
Fallout.
Yeah. Fallout.
Fallout's like one of the top 5 greatest shows
Reacher.
ever made. Reacher.
Yeah. Invincible.
Okay.
Yeah, there's good precedent, but
Rings of Power.
But look this is the big thing. Look who's staying with it. Isn't the Pascal family still related to the films?
No, they're completely out.
I thought it said Pascal will. What's it say there?
It's Pascal Pictures. It's Amy Pascal and David Hyman. They've worked on this sort of stuff before, but they haven't actually gotten we haven't seen.
So who is the original family? I thought they were the Pascals.
The original family is the Pearl family, and they're out.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, dude, this is what you get when you sell. Like, license.
That's it.
Like, otherwise you're a sellout. Like, there are so many punk rock songs about not selling out by bands that sold out that don't make music anymore.
Right? So
that's why you don't sell out. Like, look at Tech Nine. If you want for a music world reference, he never sold out. He has one of the largest independent labels ever.
Yep.
Never sell.
Rent. So this is what we're looking at this point. So we'll see how it goes. Here we are.
All right.
So, and then I think we should probably talk about Invincible.
I agree.
And I have a little bit of a graphic here for you.
Oh,
if you're interested.
Okay, yes, I am actually. So, yeah, it's perfect actually. And then we can do this right here. For those who don't know, if you used to follow this channel, you know that Tuesdays were podcast night, and that's still the case. But what we also used to do was show reviews, and then we decided to stop and just do pop culture. And then we decided we're going to do show reviews and pop culture like we used to, because that was really working and we had fun, and, well, the structure felt like it was more streamlined. I felt like I was actually keeping up with stuff, whereas if you guys haven't noticed, our Severance reviews are behind and we need to get caught up on those, and we will. But for now, we're going to talk about Invincible Season 3. If you have not watched the first 2 seasons, please go ahead and pause this live stream, watch them, and then come back to this point and continue from here on out if you do not want to suffer the inevitable spoilers.
Yep.
We are only going to be talking up to episode 2 tonight. We'll be doing 2 episodes a week to try and keep up, unless we want to try and go for 4. I mean, I don't really have an issue with this episodes being chopped up or sliced or put together, because we do the content the best way we can.
Yeah.
But I think, no, we're doing 1923 next week, too. So we'll just do, 2 episodes again. So this week's episode 1 and 2. So, Corio, do you have a summary for episodes 1 and 2?
I actually think I do. All right, you ready for the first one? 3 months after his battle with Angstrom, Mark continues training under Cecil's supervision to gain enough strength to compete with the Viltrumites while avoiding Eve, Mark, and Rex. While avoiding Eve, Mark and Rex try to stop 2 thieves, Dropkick and Fightmaster, from stealing the Declaration of Independence, but are attacked by Kate's brother, Multi Paul, who tries to avenge his sister's death. Kate and Immortal come out of retirement while Ray returns to the Guardians. William and Rick encourage Mark to confess his feelings and ask Eve out, but warn him against telling her about her future self. However, Mark lets it slip because
Mark's an idiot when it comes to women,
yeah.
just like me.
Leading Eve to reject him. Doc Seismic breaks out of containment and kidnaps Earth superheroes using giant underground creatures. When Mark and Eve fail to save the heroes, Cecil sends in Darkwing 2 and the Reanimen to help with Darkwing 2 recapturing Doc Seismic. Mark confronts Cecil for lying to him and working with Darkwing 2 and Sinclair, leading Cecil to trap him in the White Room, which was constructed to keep him safe from Mark. Alan and Nolan bond in prison while the Viltrumites begin testing Alan to determine the source of his newfound strength. Do you want me to do season 2 or episode 2 as well, or can we just start there?
I mean, was there anything you want to specifically talk about in episode 1?
Yeah. So I wanted to say that this is actually the very start of Mark's dark arc. From the comics, where he gets a fair bit darker, and man, Cecil, like, you kind of knew Cecil was always going to betray Mark, but when it happens, it hits like a truck. And you feel it, and it's brutal.
Yeah.
Also, can we talk a little bit about Rex and Rex and Mark being like this good friends at this point, where they're able to like joke around and goof off a little bit, and then the fight breaks out, and we lost Petey. Okay, I guess I'm on my own now. Oh, there we go. Oh, and gone again. And back again. So, yeah, I mean, there are a couple of great moments. We find out what happened to Kate, and the animation on this show is surprisingly good at points. And seeing when Immortal found out that Kate actually was alive is such a you feel the emotion coming from the animation, and it was really spectacular, at least in my mind. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've got.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, John.
For episode 1, I mean, I don't know. Episode 1's like the end of Mark's childhood. Like, it's to me, it's like it was this scene that really made him realize that the government doesn't actually get to deal in good and evil. It only gets to deal in defense.
Yeah.
And that's actually like a really important adult realization. Like, your government is not meant to be good. That's your job. Your job is to make sure that your government doesn't defend too hard that it omni-mans its heroes. Right?
Yeah.
And that's where episode 2, especially like, because of what you had said, Corian, right at the beginning when we opened this, you're like, I really hope Cecil says this line. And it's just been something running through my head forever that, like, surprisingly, it's been something I've lived with a lot longer than I had the words for. And I thought it was so great. So when we get up into season 2 or episode 2.
Yeah. So PD, do you want to get anything into before I bring out episode 2?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty good, pretty good start to what I think. I'm honestly looking forward to seeing the rest of the season. I know you guys have, so I appreciate your patience and in just letting me catch up on it as I go. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was honestly it was nice to it's nice to sit down and review stuff for the show again. Just to be perfectly honest. But yeah, let's go ahead and roll with episode 2.
Okay, episode 2. Mark receives a new suit from Rosenbaum. After getting his own suit, Oliver names himself Kid Omni-Man, but Mark advises against it, explaining the destruction Nolan caused before they join forces to stop Titan from breaking out Multipol. Eve moves back in with her parents, promising not to use her powers at home if they become more accepting of her duties as a hero. Debbie forms a relationship with her colleague Paul and reveals to him Nolan, Mark, and Oliver's secret identities, angering Mark. The Maulers break into a missile silo, planning to launch an EMP device to destroy the world's communication systems and
Yeah, this does
incapacitate.
not sound like episode 2.
Oh, sorry, that you're right. It's in a flashback. Cecil, yeah, this is the right one. In a flashback, Cecil objects to his predecessor rehabilitating criminals. In the present, Mark destroys a Reaniman deployed to stop him. Cecil activates a device installed in Mark's head, matching the Atlantean kaiju's roars, causing him intense pain and preventing him from flying. Mark flees to the Guardians for help, but Cecil arrives and attacks Mark with more Reanimen, prompting the Guardians to aid him. Rudy jams the signal that is harming Mark, while Cecil, realizing his mistake, deactivates the Reanimen. A furious Mark threatens to kill Cecil should he approach him or his family, ending their working relationship. The Guardians break up, with Monster Girl, Rex, Ray, Bulletproof, and Rudy losing trust in Cecil, while the immortal Kate, Samson, and Shapesmith remain and are joined by Darkwing 2. Cecil later reflects on his first meeting with Nolan and developing his personal code of doing anything to protect Earth, while Mark and Eve reconcile and start a relationship. This gives you so much depth into Cecil Stedman's character and his whole backstory, and it was laid out just perfectly. And man, that was by far the best parts of this episode. Everything else felt like cleanup from the first episode, but the flashback to Cecil's beginnings was really interesting to take apart. And it really makes you look. One of the central themes about this season that you can already tell is going to be about redemption, right? Mark is trying to redeem himself for, killing killing the God, what was the guy's name? For killing Angstrom, right? We have Kid Omni-Man now trying to redeem his father's good name. And we have, the information that Cecil is really trying to redeem, was trying to redeem himself in the world's eyes and eventually offered the same opportunities to other criminals because he felt that everyone actually should get a chance to do good after realizing that he was on the wrong side once too. So
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting take and a very, very good way to kind of play it out. And even Mark starting the relationship. I mean, I think we've all been in that situation at one time or another. And it had a very, very good feel to end the episode on.
It did. And it's I got excited to do these again because for one, it does help us keep up on the content, but for two, I watched the honest trailer with the creator of Invincible reviewing, I think it was season 1 and 2, and he just really takes a lot of it in stride. And I just honestly suddenly had a lot of respect for him, and that's on it. And so I'm like, you know what? We had been reviewing their show, and of course I gotta mention something about the Reaniman fight, saving on budget when your fight's just taking place on a white background. You don't have to think about anything except just killing the guys on the screen, and that's all. And see what you guys did there. But hey, we got season 3 a little bit faster than season 2, so, and there's no mid-season break, so.
They listened to you, Petey.
Apparently, that's right. Yes. Our 375 sub strong channel has influence at Amazon's Invincible, because
clearly,
obviously. No, and honestly, I feel like this
Bro,
is
it's
one of the,
because of this secret we manifested this.
right, exactly.
There you go.
It's really just the fact that this season didn't feel sluggish. It doesn't feel, I don't know. There wasn't a moment in these first 2 episodes that I was like, all right, here we are dragging on. Like you said, it does a decent job recapping some of the cleanup, but then it did the backstory for Cecil in such a brilliant way, setting it up with the betrayal in it. So the flow's just gotten better. The narrative is a lot stronger, a lot tighter. The timing and pacing of the show feels like it's worth promoting and talking about. Honestly, I'm very happy with these first 2 episodes, and I'm looking forward to finishing up the season, over the next, I think, 4 weeks now, 3 weeks left, because 8 episodes or something. I can maths tonight. So yeah.
I think there's 8, and but they made them a little longer, so I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah. See, I can deal with the 8 to 10 episode stuff if you're gonna, like, the reason I loved Orville season 3 so much and was okay with 10 episodes was because I got 3 movies at the end of the season. So, I mean, that was probably the best.
It was worth.
That's the way to do serialized television going forward, is to have those episodic moments, but then it's like, okay, we make it all the way to the end of the season, maybe something we can go to the theater and watch to finish it off. But that's we're not quite there. We're not quite there yet. And it almost sounds like, from what we've heard, I think we forgot to talk about this on the pop culture bit, but apparently the budget for Mando and Grogu is much thinner than
Yes. Yeah, their budget is actually going to be 270 million, which is shockingly low for a Lucasfilm movie. But I mean, the first 3 Star Wars movies were shot for less. Right? The first Indiana Jones movie was shot for less.
Here's what I say. Don't market. Make a couple YouTube trailers. That's all the marketing that you do.
That's true.
You'll save $700 billion.
That's very true.
And I guarantee you'll get all the views. We'll still go see, because you just put Jon Favreau Star Wars.
Yeah. The freaking people flock to YouTube for trailers. They don't really. It's not even.
Hey man, invite us out to the pre-screening. Like, invite some YouTubers out to the pre-screening. Say, do live streams of it. Like, do live streams of the first section of it. Yeah. Like, go for it. Right?
Dahlia Lightwood says, and the first Indiana Jones movie looked better than the last one. I mean, Last Crusade's a pretty good movie. I mean, I guess if you like.
Okay. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you that. I mean, the dirigible and all the nonsense that went on with it. I agree.
The first one, it does have a little bit more grounded than the third one does get a little bit. It's got moments where it's like, all right, this is fantasy. So.
I mean, the face melty was pretty spectacular, though.
I thought Shia LaBeouf was great.
What are you talking about?
I fucking love the Aliens one. I will always bring
what Aliens one? What are you talking about?
Crystal Skull. The last Indiana Jones, when Shia LaBeouf became the transforming.
The last Indiana Jones movie was The Last Crusade.
Yeah, the last Indiana Jones movie has "last" in the title.
I see how it is. You guys don't like it when Shia LaBeouf comes into the movies.
I don't like when 65-year-old Harrison Ford goes fisticuffs with young Russian agents, and then climbs into a refrigerator to survive a nuclear blast. Don't get me wrong. That nuclear blast, worth it to go to the theater to watch that. It was nice. Now Oppenheimer has replaced my, nuclear blast viewing pleasure. So it had its moment. But anyway, so Dahlia Lightwood says the Last Crusade should have been the end of the series. Well, it was. So...
Now, that being said, though, with Invincible, we do have some breaking news.
Breaking Invincible news, like we put in the title. We finally saved the best for last, so to speak. All right, what do we got, Corion? Do we have a source material we can show? Is this our newest intel birdie?
This is the newest intel birdie that is reported to Cameron. Codename Cardinal is apparently working inside the hallowed halls of Amazon MGM. And it turns out we are getting a live action Invincible. Now, this could be taking over for the animated series. It could be a feature film. We don't know for sure yet. What we do know is that members of the voice acting cast are going to reprise their roles in the live action.
Now, please have the salt shakers standing by because this is new information from a new source, meaning it could be wrong. And if it is, we'll be the first to admit it. So we're taking this information with a grain of salt. Live action Invincible. Dahlia Lightwood's requesting a fart sound for the live action Invincible. I don't know.
I think this could be really good. Look, Sandra Oh is about the right age to play Mark's mother.
Yeah.
Jillian Jacobs kind of does look like Adam Eve.
Yeah. They might have to do a little, de-aging, but
and Zachary Quinto could make a pretty good Rexplode / robot, right? Stephen Yeun could potentially play a slightly older Mark Grayson. And listen, J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man, I am all about that. I don't care if they have to put him in a wig or what. I want that voice. I want a reprisal of Think, Mark, Think. Right?
That said, she did say please, so do a little one. Anyway.
So, I mean, to me, this is, this has potential, and I think it would be very interesting. I mean, I want more J.K. Simmons Omni-Man, and I'll do whatever it takes to get it. I mean, J.K. Simmons is just angry enough to play Omni-Man perfectly.
Yeah. Dahlia Lightwood says, sorry, but the Invincibles was kind of an annoying cartoon. It was once. I think you're thinking of the Incredibles. Invincible.
No.
Invincible is definitely not a family-friendly cartoon.
No.
It is very much adult animation in the violence category.
The boys from the superheroes perspective.
It's basically the boys, but in cartoon, but will now be live action, but not the boys. So,
well, the way I like to explain it is, what if Superman, instead of being a Kryptonian, was a Saiyan?
Right.
The way I like to explain it is, what if we actually depicted what superhuman strength does to the human body?
Yeah, there's that too. Man of Steel, versus people of tissue paper.
People of flesh and bone.
Yeah.
But yes, real quick, Dahlia Lightwood, just to give you an example of what this show looks like. Here's the trailer with no audio because, I just want to show images of it. I'm just going to flash it on screen. There's our copyright infringement for the night. Even though it's not copyright infringement, it's promoting your shit with a trailer that you use to promote your shit.
So far, they've actually been really good about not hitting copyrights on the
trailers anymore.
Like Amazon has been good. Amazon's been very good about that.
Here, let me sort of block us out on that. Yeah, there we go. Now, we got to go to MST3K mode because
You'd be surprised. Most copyright strikes are due to the music first,
but yes,
before they are to the visuals.
But yeah, so I mean, I think this could work, right? And to be perfectly honest, I would love to see it, right? Some of the actors are in the right age, some of them aren't, but I think there could be some studio magic work to make it work. And
Dahlia
honestly, I dig
Lightwood,
it.
check out is it Secret Stories? Secret Endings? I can't remember what it's called
Secret
on
Level?
Secret Level on Amazon, and that's the current level of CGI we're playing with these days.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Advanced. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so pretty. I love it so much. And I just want the people with the billions of dollars to pay the kids with the brains to work with the artists to paint these beautiful pictures. Like,
Yep.
it is so possible. Secret Level proves it. Invincible is a perfect story to really get into it because, like, Invincible does break the comic book story of like superheroes are just better versions of ourselves. No, they're us with upgrades that nobody knows how to teach them how to be better with. And
Yep.
Cecil is just like, yeah, you mean psychopaths?
Yeah.
Like, and that's what episode 2 really showed is like Cecil actually whipped the most supermax villain prison at the time into perfect order
Yep.
in his 3
And
months
he
in
has
prison.
no powers, right?
No
Like, let's
power.
be clear.
Like, the only person that can race swap him is Samuel L. Jackson, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm the exact same guy, I just don't wear the eye patch in this one."
Yeah, basically, right? Like, I would, although I love the guy who's voicing him.
Oh, I didn't no, that's why I say the only guy who can race swap him because it's the same thing with Nick Fury, he got race swapped, and
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson could play the white Cecil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dahlia Lightwood asks, when
Robert
was the
Downey
last
Jr.
time you were really impressed by CGI? Whatever the most recent Star Wars live action product was. I think that
And
was
you know
Ahsoka.
who actually who voices Cecil, right?
Timothy Olyphant.
No, Walton Goggins.
Oh, yes, Timothy Olyphant's counterpart in Justified.
Well,
And,
Walter Goggins
Skullface
plays
in
Timothy
Fallout.
Olyphant's the ghoul. Dahlia Lightwood said, most live action just gets ruined by bad CGI or dark color grading. Also, there's this superhero fatigue thing, so it's time for some new ideas.
No,
I'm sorry, the most recent live action Star Wars was the Crapolite, so no, that looked like shit.
no, it was not. Skeleton Crew was dope.
Skeleton Crew looked really good. Really crisp
It was
CGI
so
and
gorgeous,
Skeleton
but
Crew.
also the boys. Like, say what you will about it being grotesque, CGI, it is
Hyper-realistic cartoon violence.
picture perfect. Like, it looks like downtown New York. It looks better than any Avengers did because for some reason in the Avengers, New York is actually clean. And
Right.
in San Francisco's actually doesn't have a homelessness problem, and LA is one of the most majestic places in America without a homelessness problem. But in The Boys, no, it looks exactly like downtown New York, and it's awesome. And so, like, that's the CGI that I like shout out. And again, that's the studio that'll be making this. Like, they're the CGI you're used to isn't in the box office. See Mufasa. The CGI you're looking for is on the streamers. It is in the like darker shows. It's in the superhero shows that are actually taking on the fatigue. Cause like that's what the boys, that's what Invincible really our response to is because like even Watchmen tried to be a response, but it was such a grotesque like
Well, Watchmen was the original response. You got to remember, Watchmen came out mid '80s,
right.
right?
And but it was a comic book response to the comic books, which made it dope. Like, because again, it was the first one that said, you know what? All those rules, they're not real. They're not legal. I'm just gonna write a comic book and sell it. And oh, I got a movie first.
Yeah.
Like that is I love that. I support that rebellion mentality always. And so that's what the boys, that's what Invincible is, and that's what the CGI of the studios that made these two shows is actually capable of. And there's a lot of like precedent to benefit this. Like I do agree, there are terrible CGI out there, but there's also some good stuff, and I've seen it.
Well,
Oh my god. I just realized something. You know Theodos, the guy who's running the Space Council?
Yeah.
He's played by Peter Cullen. Optimus Prime.
oh yeah,
We could have
yeah.
Peter Cullen actually appear in live action for once
Well, that would be
as
cool.
Theodos because he's old enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bro, we can also have I forget the dude, he played in Burn Notice, but he plays the metalhead. And
Oh
that,
yeah, the
I
machine
love
head.
that actor.
Yeah.
He would be awesome to have it. He had that awesome rant when he comes back to power. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I
All
love
right.
it.
Jeffrey
Stay
Donovan.
tuned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we will
right.
see how the Invincible live action develops, and we'll definitely take a look. I'm excited. Dahlia did mention something about superhero fatigue and whatnot. I was going to say, you make a good point. That's probably one of the other reasons I loved Fallout so much, is because it's such a just departure from most of the shows out there, and it's really its own special thing. So I gotta recommend Fallout again because I love Fallout, and so yeah. We want to thank Dahlia Lightwood, Jay Ghost, the lovely Sherry, for your comments. We appreciate that. It always helps us to grow. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We will be back next week. We plan to review 2 more episodes of Invincible. We're going to try and review some 1923. And, of course, we're going to have our latest and greatest intelligence dump of whatever we have going on in the world of pop culture. And, of course, anything you guys want to try and bring to the discussion table. But it has been over an hour and a half. I think we have had a pretty good show tonight. So I think that's just where we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Does anyone have any last minute things before I cut you off?
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for watching.
9/11 was an inside job.
He's Pollo Zapatos. He's Corione. I'm Petey York with the Ryder Brothers. We will catch you on the next E2IP. Have a great night. This has been a presentation of the Entertainment Information Intelligence Podcast from the Ryder Brothers. The Ryder Brothers, restoring respect into discourse.